It's the most I've talked since Thursday. Because what happened was, once I felt my voice starting to, I hope my cough button works. I still have a cough button on the floor. I hope when I step on it, it actually kills the sound of me coughing.
It did.
I have no idea. They tell me it does. So I hardly said a word Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I was saving my voice for yesterday. And when I finally talked again, the first time I actually talked again was to Justin Jefferson. And my voice was all like Peter Brady cracking and popping because I hadn't used it in 4 days. So anyway, this is the longest
He
I've
probably
talked
thought you were cool
in
with
4
that
days.
one. He was like, damn, what is this? Who's this loser I'm talking about that's all nervous and like his voice is cracking because he's talking to me?
Yeah, I'm serious. I went 4 days without talking, and the first actual talking was when because a lot of times when I send out texts asking to get somebody for a few minutes, they'll tell me, okay, and we're calling in 10 minutes, or okay, here, we'll give you a 30-second heads up or a 2-minute warning. They just called. Like, they didn't even say yes or no. Like, I said, hey, can I get Justin Jefferson for a few minutes? And I never heard anything back, and I'm sitting here like, because in that 4 o'clock, it's like, okay, I got to get this guy. Can I get this guy? How do I get this guy? What do I do here? Phone rings. It's like, holy crap, it's the Vikings, and it's Justin Jefferson, and it just kind of happened. And it's like, I haven't spoken a word in 3 days. Oh, well, let's see how this goes. Okay, so the call that it sounds like you're going to disagree with me on that the Jets got very upset about, the holding call on Sauce Gardner. Let's take a look at it first. We'll hear from Sauce Gardner, and we'll talk about the aftermath of it. But this was 3rd and 20. Long throw.
There's some crazy series of
intercepted.
events here altogether. This little 2 and 3 minute span
Right.
here.
Right, but there's the flag comes out for a hold on Sauce Gardner, and you know what? From that angle, I can see why they threw it, because, as you've said in the past in situations like this, we've seen less than that called before.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And so I can understand why they would do it, because I think there was enough of a hand up there, but it wasn't egregious. It wasn't blatant. We've seen that not called. That's the problem. We've seen less than that called,
Well, yeah.
but we've seen that not called. So
Well,
I can
yeah.
see why somebody would be upset that in that moment that flag comes out. And how much did it really impede the route, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I hear that. And then, I mean, to that point, right, this is a little bit of a theme in the first 3 weeks where we saw referees in that parts of the game, they did swallow their flags. And all of a sudden, that was a penalty all game long. And we got 3 or 4 instances of different games where you'd go, oh, what, they're not going to call that now because it's the last play of the game, or, a big 2-point play, right? We've seen it. We saw it all as far as that's concerned there. But I think if we go back and show that video one more time there, I mean, to me, that goes beyond, like, that was definite. I mean, again, he was 8-9 yards downfield. He's got 2 hands on him, and then he has a hand on the back of his helmet holding him here. So here's one hand, now it's 2 hands, and then he kind of gets the back edge of his helmet, and it does disrupt the way Valdez-Scantling is running. Valdez-Scantling is going outside. Sauce grabs him, cuts him off, puts 2 hands on him like this, and now he had to go inside because he had been pulled and his momentum had been stopped. So I didn't have a problem with the call. I did not. Watching it live, I thought it was PI. I think the thing is what people would think, maybe the ref is going to was a little late with it. I don't know. Watching it back in real time there, I didn't think it was crazy. It's a tough call. I understand that. And it's even tougher when it's 3rd and 20 and you feel like, hey, we got him on the ropes here and we're going to have another chance to get the ball. That's what stunk about it, certainly. But I do think that was defensive holding all the way, yes.
Let's hear from Sauce Gardner after the game talking about the holding penalty that was called.
The receiver ran into me. It was a collision. The same thing that was happening all game. They ain't throw no flags. Pat threw the ball outside of the receiver. MC was there. He made the play. Then the ref threw the flag. Like, me personally, that's like when you play basketball and one-on-one and you go up to lay the ball up and you wait to see you miss and then say foul. Like, I can't believe that. Like, that was just crazy because, like, I don't even think they threw the ball my way at me first 3 quarters. Then they started throwing checkdowns, and then shot that they try to take that's not going, then they finally get bailed out by that. Fourth quarter, crunch time, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's, I don't even know what to say.
What do you think of his contention that
Well, first
maybe
off, his
they
reaction on
throw
the
the
field
flag?
was that I passed interference, and he knew that. He was mad at himself, and he was hitting himself in the head because he knew he had.
That is a late flag, though. That's a late flag.
Yeah, I hear you. It is. It definitely is. Like, you could see his hand in the screen there. He's trying to reach for it for a second there before. I know he's saying, hey, it seems late. It's a part of the game where, we don't want the referees to get involved. But to me, again, if that's not called there, then just let's take the referees off the field at the end of the football game. That to me would be the issue. Yeah.
Here's the other reason to be frustrated with it.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, we've seen worse than that not called.
Right.
We've also seen in moments like that, and this is the problem. When you're going to have, for example, the 2-point conversion, Denver, Washington, guy gets mugged, and no flag,
exactly.
No big deal.
Right.
The end of the Steelers-Browns game, right? Pass interference, potentially not called, not even really discussed. Ball was catchable, wasn't catchable, no big deal. Just move on to the next bright, shiny object.
Ravens-Colts game.
When we're going to not call that stuff, when you've got officials who don't have the guts to throw the flags in those moments because they don't want to be the recipients of that ire, the ones who do have the guts to do it, it just shows you how much it takes, how much courage it takes to do it, because most of them won't. And the ones who do end up being the ones who become the focal point of all the criticism. So, and you know what? I'm kind of changing my feeling in real time here, because I think we all were miffed because we got robbed of a more memorable ending.
I think that's part of it too. Right.
Like, damn it, why'd you throw that flag? The Jets got the ball back, and then they were going to drive down. Maybe they were going to tie it up, and then maybe it was going to go to overtime.
It's almost like Juju Smith-Schuster in the Super Bowl with the Eagles. People were like mad that they got robbed of the moment, right? But it was pass interference.
Right.
There's a jersey that was
we
grabbed.
said that at the time.
But everybody was. We said the same thing. Right. Yeah.
Yep. People got robbed of the moment. They wanted to have the moment. So, and I'll blame the COVID. It's great. I've been able to blame the COVID for everything. Every dumb thing I've said or done the past few days, blame the COVID. Acting like an asshole at home, blame the COVID. Having COVID is a great license to just be a dick. It really is. It really is. Just, you know what? I'm sorry I said that.
Yeah.
I got
COVID. He's got
COVID. So anyway, but you're right. You're right. You know, one of the realities of doing this show every day is there's going to be stuff we said that we've forgotten about. But that's the reason why people are upset. Fundamentally and ultimately, we were collectively robbed of a much better ending when that flag came out. But I got to give the person who threw it, even though it took a little while to find it, it wasn't like Jeff Fisher trying to find his red flag that one game. But if that was holding, and if it's in the first quarter, it's holding. That's what you say all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, it's holding, it's interference. All of a sudden, game's on the line. Well, I didn't see anything.
Right.
I didn't see anything.
Right.
Flick who?
Right.
So, and so credit to whoever that was, Mr. Official, whose name I will try to find and give appropriate credit to if I remember. Credit to him for throwing that flag, because it takes extra courage to do it, because all too often, that's the reaction. Flick who? No flag coming out. I don't want to be the one. I don't want to be the one who gets a brick thrown through my window. I don't want to be the one whose name is dragged through the mud. I don't want to be the one who killed that moment. God forbid I do my job the way I'm supposed to do my job, and it takes away the moment. So credit to that official, because I think we've solved it.
Yeah.
I think we've got a consensus here. It should have been called. And it's hard for us to process it because we kind of wish it didn't happen, because we wanted that interception to stand, because we wanted an exciting game.
That's right. We wanted to see Zach Wilson have another crack at it, see if they could go down and start, continue this magical story of what? Sunday Night Football? Taylor Swift's in the audience? Travis Kelce, the Chiefs? And wait, Say again? What? Zach Wilson's out dueling Patrick Mahomes on a Sunday night football game? Huh? It was funny. It was. I was kind of yelling throughout the building right now, throughout the day, like, hey, don't look now. Zach Wilson's out dueling Patrick Mahomes. Who had that? It's the great thing about the sport. You just never know what to expect. Mahomes was off his game. He looked awesome early. That was almost his third interception, right? He threw 2 bad ones early on. And here's the other way I can get behind.
Should have had another one.
He could have had another. Exactly right. He really lost his way, and that's credit to that Jets defense, like you were talking about to start the show. Another thing that they'll be able to go, hey, we gave the Chiefs all they could handle, and Mahomes looked, mortal for about 2.5 quarters there in the football game. Now, other thing I'll say, too, about the Sauce Gardner pass interference, law of averages, right? A little bit of the karma of the game, the football gods. Again, the other thing I could say is the Jets were granted 2 points on a horrible call by the referees and giving them a safety. The face mask happened before the guy got in the end zone. It was clear. Terry McLaurin said it.
McCauley.
Sorry, I don't know what the hell. I got
third try's a charm.
I got McLaurin and from the Washington in my head. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But Collinsworth, of course, he referenced it too, clearly. So that was a moment and a big play, and it gave the Jets 2 points and gave them the ball back, and they had that call go their way too. That I think was unfair. So I don't know if that really makes anybody feel any better. But what my point is that there's human error, and the game's not always fair. And sometimes you get some good calls, and sometimes you don't, and that's part of football.
That's right. But it's those moments
it's the end of the game moments. Yes,
in the clutch.
Right. That's right.
But again, credit to the official who has the willingness to throw the flag then, because you become, when you do, the person who gets all the criticism, even if you don't deserve it. Robert Salah blew a gasket about that call.
Oh, my gosh.
It was called for unsportsmanlike conduct late in the game. And I don't know how much of that was calculated by him to try to instill a little something in this team. You'll see in the basketball game or the baseball game every once in a while the coach or the manager gets ejected just to get a rise out of his team. Was he reacting that way just to draw some fire from his guys so they're mad and that they feel like they've been screwed, and they kind of use that as part of the fuel to carry this thing forward and get some wins? If so, I think it's smart.
Yeah.
If this morning the Jets players are waking up with a combination of we can play with anyone, we got to get back to work, and we're even more determined because they screwed us last night. And we're going to have to go work even harder because they screwed us. And we got to be ready for them to screw us again. So we're going to work even harder than we otherwise would have worked. If that was the goal, then I think it was smart.
Yeah, I think, you're fighting for your players. You're fighting for your team, right? He's an emotional, all gas, no brakes type of football coach anyways. Right, I think it's something that, the players see that. They go, damn, our coach has got our back, right? He's ready to get in the fight with us. And I think, too, he knows how hard that team battled last night. So he was trying to battle for them on the sidelines. And then not only last night, come on. The Jets have been through a lot this year. And I think he's, that probably came to a head, too, there. Damn, how many things do we have to go against us this year? We had the Savior come to town, and we got him for 4 damn plays this year, and which has been a crapshoot ever since, and them trying to find their way. And they finally put it together last night, and they feel like, hey, they got the short end of the stick on a call there in pass interference. So yeah, credit to him, and hopefully they can rally behind the performance, their coach's intensity, and how he has their back as good as any coach in football. And then, it's Sean Payton time and the worst coaching performance we've ever seen in the history of football. So they're going to be motivated, ready to go this week. That's for sure. I would think. If they're not, that would be one of the shockers of next Sunday. But the Jets do got a lot to be proud of, the way they played and battled last night.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.